The action from the first muddy cyclocross race of the season, and you're going to have to bear with me here because mud does get on the camera, but don't worry, I do clean it. On this start there was absolutely bodies everywhere, so I think by cleaning that I've made it worse. But I had a third row start. Look, you can see Fletcher nearly got taken out in front then. There was just every man and his dog must have pumped their tyres up to 40 psi because they were sliding all over the place. But I got like a fairly decent start and I was up into the top 10, and then it was just carnage. I was able to move up. Look, Ben gets absolutely flattened there. Sit down, Kingston Wheelers, sit down. He said to him, sit down maggot, stay down. But he gets back up, and fair play racing this on Griffos. But you can see everyone's like foot out, bloke round the front there hits the deck, carnage everywhere. What were people doing? It's a bit of mud. It's like people haven't seen mud before. And watch Ben here, he does a really good move. He decides to get off in all this carnage, run, and it was way quicker. Look, because we got bottlenecked here again. Like, one thing I will mention with Ben is he's a very smart racer. He was on Griffos and he did actually, I noticed during the race, he was getting off, running corners. But you can see there, I managed to make up like 3 places just through getting a little bit of traction out of that corner, and everyone faffing about, absolutely wetting their pants that there's a bit of mud for once. But I lose them places. But fear not, because all these boys are going absolutely full steam, and you know they cannot go round a corner to save their life. Look, in a minute there's just like another bloke hits the deck, and honestly I was going round thinking, you know what, today is going to be a good day, because these lads had no grip, and this was the main problem for me, the big stretches here. So this long drag all the way up to the top, where you have to pedal a lot through the mud, not good when your power to weight ratio is pathetic. But I managed to just like hang in there best I could. Apologies about the mud here. It was just flicking up everywhere. But it was just about getting grip. So you see I move over to the left here and I'm just trying to find like any bit of grass to get some grip. Fletcher's got absolutely no grip. I had to hit the brakes before I rear-ended him. But that's one thing that you hear all the time, oh, green is grip. And when you're going up those little banks, it's about getting as far left or right, or just to find any sort of grip. And that is what I felt like I was doing quite well on some of those sections. And down these hills I was just sticking it in a rut, point and shoot baby. But when you've got traffic, it was hard to get into any rhythm. Once the race opens up a little bit and I'm out of all this traffic, you can really start to save some time through, go on Fletcher, down again. I told you, he was like Bambi on ice, and I said to him after, you need to let some pressure out your tyres. And he was like, it's already too low, I was rimming it. Bloody hell, bloody roadies, isn't it? But he does beat me, unfortunately. But yeah, as I was saying, it was just about finding any grip you could, and the course was completely different to when we done practice, because it had stopped raining, started to dry out a bit, and the mud was just like starting to get claggy, hard to ride through, sticking to the bike. All the people in the morning race, it was just like wet mud. But you'll see here again, as soon as we hit these long straights, I just don't quite have the power and fitness to go with it at the moment. And I think you can see again, I'm just like clinging to that right hand side to try and get a little bit of grass. And then same over here, absolutely trying to find any grip I can. And yeah, I think I lose a place down here maybe, but I knew going into this next section, you've got the wooded section, and that's, see, Fletcher comes back past me. Bloody roadies, all power, no finesse. But you'll notice when you get into this next section, it's through the woods, bit of single track. That was where I could gain my advantage and try and recover. I'd take like my heart rate with a pinch of salt because it's off my wrist again, but you'll see through here like off camber, slippy, and I felt like I was just cruising. Look, you can see Fletcher's back wheel where he's trying to put the power down, and he's just like sliding all over the place. But this is where I was able to get my recovery. This section through the other side, the first bit of the course with all those long drags, does not suit me if you haven't got the fitness level. But round here, I just felt like look, you can see I'm trying to find any bit of green. It gives me a bit of a bad line into this corner, but I managed to just stick it in a rut, sling it round. I didn't have the power to get past Fletcher there, but it was off and running, and then we start to move up. So I think right now we are just in, look at him, the bloke's Bambi on ice, isn't he? Got to be careful of that, man. He almost stuck it in the bush then. But yeah, as I was saying, I moved up a couple of places there, and I think we were just sort of like maybe 8th and 9th, me and Fletcher, but there was a couple of riders ahead. The problem is with racing in the mud, it's not just about fitness now, it's skill as well. So you've got to be able to, one, stay on two wheels, and also keep your bike in good enough condition so it doesn't break. So I've skipped on this next bit because the camera got absolutely filthy. We hit this long drag again, and this is where, you know, your boy's got absolutely nothing. I'm trying my hardest. Now I'm at 80 kilos rather than 65. The old threshold does not produce as much speed as it used to. But as you'll see here, Fletcher comes back past me, and I'm just like trying to react. You can see, look, I'm trying to find absolutely any grip right out the side on the tape, whereas Fletcher's just steamboat powering through the middle. Then I lost a place to Declan from Kingston Wheelers, who flattened Ben on lap 1, so he's a hero in my eyes anyway. But yet again, coming up here, this was like the part of the race where I was just trying to be on damage limitation. I was on my limit. I'm just trying to find any bit of grip up here, but I put in a little surge because I knew I wanted to be as close as possible when we hit the downhill section coming up. But these little surges up to the top hurt, and especially when I'm trying to clean the camera as well. Stick it in a rut, sling it round the corner, you gotta love it. Kingston Wheelers got back past me, and this was now the battle. So we were battling for, at this point, I think it was 7th. The boys absolutely dropped me along this straight. Then the Isle of Wight rider comes round me. So I've dropped back into about 8th position, but he pits. Fletcher pitted as well. But it did give me the chance to get back on that group. They dropped me every time along the straights. It was an absolute nightmare. But as soon as I got into the wooded section and this far bit of the course, I could just bridge back on using a little bit of techers and just shut that gap down. But there's only so many times you can do that, because once my legs started to fatigue towards the end of the race, I wasn't able to hold the gap close enough on the far section. And that's the thing with cross, it's not just about skill, you've got to have the fitness. At the moment, that's something to work on, but you can see I've already closed that gap down to the boys in front, and now we're back battling for, I think it was 7th place at the time. You can see how muddy it is. Absolute carnage. I think I managed to get up past Kingston with Declan here. So I was in, say, 8th position. But the problem was, I think a rider had a mechanical in front, so we moved up a spot. Another rider absolutely hit the deck and hurt his knee. So we were now actually battling for 5th place. Can you believe it? We were battling for a podium spot. You'll notice one thing here. I decided to take the chopper line on the right, the easier line where I don't have to hop over that hurdle. This wasn't because I couldn't hop over that. It wasn't a hurdle, it was a little route. It wasn't because I couldn't hop over that route. It was because I was thinking to myself, the energy I'm going to have to put in there, going into the part of the course that doesn't suit me, I was just trying to do anything to like save energy and limit my losses. So you'll see here again, the boys have started to pull away in front. I think that's Fletcher there, started to pull away. And this was the story of the race. Every time I got back on, I got dropped through lack of fitness. And I think I get, look at Declan, just went past me like I stood still. But then look, same again, come down this far end, stick it in a rut, get back on. And it was a wicked little battle between us. Look, Fletcher's all over the place. The man is Bambi on ice. Watch him through here. This is what I mean about how skills can save you, because I'm saving energy down here. He's almost sending it into the other side of the tape. Watch. Where are you off to? Where's he off to? I said to him in the race, what are you doing? But yeah, this was the battle. It was like, get back on, get dropped, get back on, get dropped. So if I can work on the fitness a little bit, we might actually be able to get a top 5 / a podium this year. But you'll see just here, this is the battle now. Declan's just got a bit of a gap. Fletcher decides to carry on running. And now this is totally unnecessary overtake from me here. But you know what they say, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing. And I just, as soon as I get, if someone leaves the door open, I just cannot not take it. So I saw him go wide and I thought I'm going to stick it in this little rut here and send him into the tape. Good, Georgie boy, you've got to love it. So we're back up into 6th place now, and Declan just in front is in 5th place. He then dispatches me. I go in for a bike change. Thank you to my pit crew for the day that absolutely saved the day. You're going to lose the power now. For some reason, if I start on one bike and then switch, the watch doesn't pick up the second bike. But you can see here, I've like managed to limit my losses and stay as close as I can to Fletcher. And I remember coming down here and we were like half an hour in, and we were having a little bit of banter, and he sticks the elbow on me on this corner. I think he gets it a little bit wrong. I try and chop him up the inside, but he gets it wrong, and then he stuck the elbow on me, bloody chopper. And we were having a bit of banter going round here. And at this point I said to him, oh, I wouldn't worry too much. The wheels are about to fall off in a couple of minutes for me. And you bet they bloody did. I could feel it coming, and I knew I couldn't sustain the pace I was going. But because I knew I was up there, I was like, I don't know why I'm even battling Fletcher. I should have just let him have the place and saved my energy. But you know, you got to swing the chopper sometimes. And the wife was there watching with baby Ava, so I was swinging the chopper. And yeah, we came into this section and he just dispatched me along this drag. Look, just pulled away from me. Nothing I could do. Just, if I can just get like the fitness up a tiny bit, which may involve you actually training, George, I think I can get a top 5. But as you'll see here, Fletcher ended up pulling away. I've jumped on a lap. Declan, who was in 5th place, has chewed up half the course and got half the course in his rear wheel. So Fletcher's now in 5th, I'm in 6th, and the battle is on for the podium. But unfortunately, your boy just didn't have the legs. Look, the gap wasn't massive. You can see him just ahead, like 2 corners away. But eventually, that gap keeps growing, and I don't manage to shut it down on... where are you going, Georgie boy? I don't manage to shut it down on the technical sections. Like I said, there's only so many times you can do that. But it's absolutely wicked to finally have some mud. And honestly, if it wasn't for Ben racing, I'd have been a hell of a lot closer to the front. But look, you can see Fletcher just there on the right. It was literally at the 41-minute mark. It was probably a 10-second gap. And then I got lapped by Ben. Look, he's like wiping his number to prove it's him. Then he turns round and he starts speaking to me. Look, he slows down, and I'll tell you what he's saying. He's like, it's so unfair that I'm fast at cycling, but you're so good looking, have such good banter. And look, he won this race by 5 minutes 45 or something, and he stopped and had a chat with me. That's hilarious. I'll tell you what he's actually saying. He said, do you want me to lap you, or do you want me to stay behind so you can do it all? And I said, no, absolutely lap me. And then he wanted me to say something about him being better, and then he started waving at the camera. Absolute chopper. Yes, I will admit, Ben has got seriously fast all of a sudden. To put 5 minutes 43 into this field on a set of Griffos, and to stop and have a conversation with me, I take my hat off. But that was the gap just there to Fletcher with 1 lap to go now. It was literally 2 corners. Your boy didn't have it, so I managed to roll over the line in 6th place. Absolutely wicked, battling it out again and having some mud. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.